As we journey through our later years, wisdom gently whispers, small details matter. Often, it's not the grand illnesses we anticipate, but the subtle, quiet habits we overlook, rituals we believe harmless or even beneficial, that slowly, imperceptibly erode our health. This awareness isn't meant to frighten, but rather to gently awaken our senses to habits that once served us, but now might silently harm. Together, let's gently explore these hidden dangers, offering clarity and compassion as we walk the path toward healthier aging. Section 1. The Water Trap: Too Much Hydration. Mrs. Jensen, at 74, embraced the advice wholeheartedly: hydrate abundantly. Determined to maintain her health, she began drinking nearly 3 liters of water each day. Initially, she felt virtuous, energized by her commitment. But soon, fatigue and confusion crept in. Her sodium levels silently dropped, a condition known as hyponatremia, common among older adults whose kidneys handle fluids less efficiently. Mrs. Jensen's well-intended habit turned harmful, affecting her cognitive clarity and stability. Science tells us aging kidneys regulate fluid balance less effectively, increasing vulnerability to electrolyte imbalances. Moderation, careful attention to thirst cues, and balanced intake prevent these silent slips into illness. For Mrs. Jensen, awareness was gentle liberation from misguided health ideals. Think someone you love is overhydrating without realizing it? Share this. One quiet change could save their clarity. Section 2. Vitamin overload: when healthy turns toxic. Mr. Carter, 78, was meticulous about his health. Each morning, he lined up a rainbow of supplements across the kitchen counter like soldiers: vitamin A, vitamin D, calcium, iron, magnesium, ginkgo biloba. He called them his insurance policy. But within a year, his sharpness faded. He stumbled when walking, felt foggy in the afternoons. His fingers ached. He thought it was age. Routine labs told a different story. His vitamin A levels were triple the recommended maximum. His calcium was too high, burdening his kidneys and stiffening his joints. The harmless pills had quietly turned toxic. Fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K aren't excreted easily. They accumulate. And aging bodies with slower metabolisms and reduced renal function absorb and store nutrients differently. What supports wellness in moderation can sabotage it in excess. Vitamin toxicity isn't flashy. It's silent. It masquerades as fatigue, joint stiffness, forgetfulness, symptoms often misattributed to aging. For Mr. Carter, the tipping point came when he fell trying to answer the door. A brain scan showed nothing dramatic, but his balance had shifted. Literally, the supplements weren't bad. The assumption behind them was more is better. That logic, so often rewarded in youth, betrays us in age. After his review, we cut his list by half. He consulted his doctor regularly, focused on food-based sources. Within weeks, he stood taller, thought clearer, and most importantly, stopped chasing health and started listening to it. This is the paradox of aging. The very things we once added for strength may now require subtraction for survival. Know someone piling up vitamins without checking their effects? Share this. Excess doesn't mean safety, and sometimes it can mean danger. Section 3. Skipping breakfast: why morning matters more now. Ms. Thompson, 70, was never a breakfast person. "I just need my coffee," she'd say, waving off eggs and toast. For decades, it worked. But in recent years, she began experiencing sudden dips in energy mid-morning. Her hands trembled slightly. Her mood swung unpredictably. Sometimes she'd forget why she walked into a room. She chalked it up to age. Her doctor saw something else: morning hypoglycemia. Her blood sugar levels were crashing before noon. Without a morning meal to stabilize her metabolism, her brain and body were working on fumes. After 65, the body's ability to maintain glucose balance weakens. Hormonal rhythms shift. What once seemed like a harmless habit, skipping breakfast, becomes a stressor, one that amplifies fatigue, mental fog, and emotional instability. When Miss Thompson finally added a balanced breakfast, whole grains, protein, a little fruit, things changed. Not overnight, but gradually. Her morning irritability softened, her memory steadied. She found herself humming again while washing dishes. She hadn't realized how much her mornings shaped her days, and how easily they'd been slipping away. If you've ever brushed off breakfast as unnecessary or know someone who does, think again. Follow us for more insights like these. Share this story with a friend who skips meals and tell us in the comments, what's your breakfast routine now? Section 4. Afternoon naps, the sleep that stole the night. Mr. Patel, 76, loved his afternoon naps. They began as harmless rituals. 20 minutes after lunch, a soft blanket, the hum of the ceiling fan. He called it his reset button. But slowly, the nap stretched. 30 minutes became an hour, then 2. It felt indulgent, peaceful, but something was shifting. As the naps grew longer, his nights unraveled. Sleep wouldn't come. He lay awake past midnight, tossing, turning, chasing a calm that never settled. The next day, his eyelids sagged by noon. And so he napped again, longer this time, caught in a loop he couldn't name. He thought it was the mattress, or maybe the house creaked more at night. But when we talked, the pattern became clear. His body wasn't broken, it was confused. After 65, the body's circadian rhythm grows more fragile. Deep sleep becomes lighter, more delicate. Extended naps send mixed signals, disrupting the body's timing, diluting the precious depth of nighttime rest. What feels like relief is often a thief in disguise. Mr. Patel didn't want to give up napping, so he made it smarter. Capped it at 30 minutes. Kept it before 3 p.m., set a gentle timer. Added a routine: read a page, stretch, sip herbal tea. In weeks, things changed. He started sleeping through the night again. He laughed more, lost his edge of irritation. I wake up and I'm not lost in fog anymore, he told me. I'm rested. The nap remained, but now it supported him, not sabotaged him. What was once an escape had become a gift of rhythm, intention, and peace. Section 5. Endless news. How fear shapes the body. Mrs. Lopez, 80, rarely left her living room. The TV was always on news, all day, every day. Politics, disasters, economic crashes. She said she wanted to stay informed, but her shoulders were always tense. Her hands trembled when the headlines turned grim. At first, no one noticed. It seemed normal routine, even. But gradually, her sleep deteriorated, her appetite waned, her blood pressure crept upward. She began snapping at her grandchildren for no reason. We often think of stress as loud, explosive. But in older adults, it's quiet, chronic, a slow drip. It comes not from trauma, but from constant low-level alarm. And constant news, with its flashing banners and urgent tones, is an endless source of that alarm. Stress raises cortisol. Prolonged cortisol disrupts everything: sleep, blood sugar, memory, immune health. For someone like Mrs. Lopez, the news wasn't just information. It was daily inflammation. When we reduced her news exposure 30 minutes in the morning, then off, her mood softened. She smiled more. Her hands stopped shaking. She called it peace I forgot I needed. The habit hadn't seemed dangerous, but it was feeding her fear, stealing her calm. If this reminds you of someone, maybe even yourself, pause. Reclaim quiet. Follow us for stories that soothe. Share this to start a conversation and comment below. How do you protect your peace? Conclusion, final reflection. If aging teaches us anything, it's that wisdom comes not from knowing everything, but from listening deeply to the body we live in. And sometimes it whispers. The habits we explored today, hydrating, supplementing, skipping meals, resting, staying informed, are not wrong in themselves. But they are powerful. And with age, power must be handled more gently. We don't need to overhaul our lives overnight. We need only to notice, to pause, to choose with care. Mr. Carter once said, "I used to chase health. Now I listen to it." That shift from control to connection is where well-being lives. So, whether you're watching for yourself or for someone you love, remember, small changes can mean everything. What feels normal may be your next miracle or your next misstep. Share this story with someone who needs it. Follow our channel to walk this path with more clarity. And comment below, what quiet habit have you recently rethought?